You are watching VNA News Bulletin, and here are our top stories.
Party General Secretary Nguyen Tan's activities in Japan. Prime Minister Nguyen Tan Dung attends thermal power plant inaugural ceremony in Binh province. Ethnic minority poverty rate set to be cut by 3 to 4% annually.
Let's start our news bulletin with an update on the visit to Japan by Party General Secretary Nguyen Tan.
Party General Secretary Pham held a reception for Okada Katsuya, President of the Democratic Party of Japan, who promised to strive hard for the pragmatic development of the extensive strategic partnership between two countries. The General Secretary said that the Vietnamese party and state always treasures ties with Japan and consider the country a leading important and long-term partner, adding that Vietnam wishes to work together with Japan to deepen their fruitful relationship. Okada Katsuya showed his eagerness to move cooperation outcomes between two parties forward. Pham also met with Japanese Communist Party Chairman Kazuo Shi, during which he highlighted the solidarity and traditional friendship between the two parties. He suggested the two sides increase the sharing of experience and information, boost bilateral cooperation, and effectively coordinate with each other at regional and international forums, as well as multilateral activities. Kazuo Shi said the diverse cooperation activities between two parties, especially theoretical exchanges, have significantly contributed to finalize each side's theoretical system. On September 17th, General Secretary Pham met with Speaker of Japan's House of Representatives Tadamori Oshima. Both sides agreed to facilitate exchanges between the Vietnamese and Japanese governments, parliaments, and people for deeper mutual understanding, trust, friendship, and cooperation. Early on September 16th, General Secretary Pham met with President of the Japanese House of Councillors, Masaaki Yamazaki. The Japanese president highly valued the growing relations between two countries in recent years, while affirming that Japan has always prioritized its cooperation with Vietnam and expressed his wish for further exchanges between the two parliaments. He expressed his hope that General Secretary Pham's visit will mark a new milestone in bilateral ties between Vietnam and Japan. The Vietnamese party leader said Vietnam always considers Japan as the leading partner, while stating his hope for deepened Vietnam-Japan strategic partnership, increased multi-level exchanges, including exchanges and collaboration between Vietnam's National Assembly and the Japan's House of Councillors. At a meeting with representatives of the Japan Business Federation on September 17th, party leader Pham praised the federation's 20-year company with Vietnam, which he said has greatly contributed to the economic trade investment and official development assistance collaboration between two countries. The party chief also stressed the important role played by Ren in elevating Japan's position as the largest ODA donor, the second largest foreign direct investor, and the fourth largest trade partner of Vietnam.
Prime Minister Nguyen Tan Dung attended a ceremony to inaugurate the Vung Ang 1 thermal power plant in the central province of Hà Tĩnh on September 17th.
Construction on the $1.25 billion plant started in July 2009. The first turbine of the 1,200 megawatt plant began operation in August 2014, while the second one started generating electricity in April this year, contributing a total of 3 billion kilowatts per hour to the national grid so far. When running at full capacity, the plant is expected to provide around 7.2 billion kilowatts per hour for the national grid each year, with annual proceeds of $308 to $352 million, thus helping deal with electricity deficiency and ensure energy security for the national industrialization and modernization. The successful construction of the Vung Ang thermal power plant is a breakthrough development because this power plant will have the highest capacity in the history of Vietnam. The Prime Minister then participated in a ceremony to inaugurate the first coal field turbine of a power plant of the Formosa Group located in the Vung Ang Economic Zone. He expressed hope that the Taiwanese group will continue efforts to ensure the progress of the project and contribute more to the socio-economic development in Ha Tinh and the northern central region. The Prime Minister also visited the construction site of the Sơn Dương deepwater port at the economic zone.
Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Văn Ninh held talks with Swiss Vice President and head of the Federation Department of Economic Affairs, Education and Research, Johann Niklaus Schneider in Binh on September 16, as part of his visit to Switzerland.
Deputy Prime Minister Ninh expressed his delight at the growing friendship and cooperative ties between Vietnam and Switzerland in recent years over latitude of fields. He also hopes Switzerland will continue to boost trade and collaboration in ODA and FDI project implementation in 2016. Vice President Schneider affirmed Switzerland always emphasizes the importance of expanding bilateral cooperation with Vietnam, especially when the two sides are celebrating 45 years of their diplomatic ties.
Vietnamese and Italian inspection officials scrutinized a draft memorandum of understanding on anti-corruption cooperation for the signing of the documents by 2016 at a recent meeting in Rome.
During the event, Inspector General Huỳnh Phong Chanh briefed on Vietnam's socio-economic situation, as well as his party and state's policies on inspection, administrative complaint settlement, and corruption prevention. Welcoming the visit made by the Vietnamese government inspectorate delegation, Deputy Director of the National Anti-Corruption Authority, Parisi Nicoletta, affirmed that information and experience of Vietnam in this field are helpful to Italy, as the agency was set up only more than 1 year ago. The signing of the Memorandum of Understanding with Italy in 2016 is significant to boost collaboration between the two agencies and enhance relations between the two countries. During its stay, the Vietnamese delegation also met representatives from the State Management Council on Administrative Complaints and the State General Accounting Department.
Moving on to economic news, the Ministry of Industry and Trade has announced that Vietnam's trade deficit with China continued to grow, presently at $22.3 billion. The figure is likely to rise as another quarter of the year left to go.
The trade deficit with China has existed for many years and keeps growing. The recently released figure predicts 2015 will result a year-on-year increase of 29%. The $28.9 billion deficit in 2014 was 21.8%, higher than that of 2013. Experts said cheaper prices are one of the key reasons behind the widening trade deficit, particularly when China decides to devalue its currency. The widening deficit in trade would create a growing dependence of the national economy on China, which remains Vietnam's biggest import market. Vietnam's main imports from China are machinery, equipment, steel and fertilizer, and imports crude oil, telephones and parts, rubber, rice, fruit, vegetables, seafood, minerals, and raw materials. The ministry reported that Vietnam's total trade deficit for this year now stands at $3.6 billion. In order to narrow the deficit, the government issued a plan on export market development for 2020, aiming for an average annual export growth rate of from 11 to 12% to achieve $300 billion in export value by 2020.
Cutting the poverty rate among ethnic minority groups by 3 to 4% annually is among the specific targets for 2025, set recently by the government, in its efforts to achieve the Millennium Development Goals in connection with ethnic minorities.
Other targets are to reduce the malnutrition rate among ethnic minority children aged under 5 to below 8% and bring the rate of children going to primary schools at appropriate age to over 97%. The rate of literacy among ethnic minority people over 10 years old should be raised to more than 98%, and the mortality rate among under 1 children should be reduced to below 19 per 1,000 live births. Meanwhile, the rate of HIV infections among the 15 to 24 age group must be reduced to under 0.3%, and more than 50% of ethnic minority households should get access to clean water. In order to achieve the above-mentioned goals, the government is to integrate the Millennium Development Goals for ethnic minority groups into socio-economic development strategies and plans for the period from 2016 to 2020 of the country, ministries and localities. Intersector coordination from central to local levels will be enhanced and resources will be mobilized to complete the Millennium Development Goals, laying the foundation for the shift towards sustainable development goals after 2015. It is necessary to perfect mechanisms for supervising policies from central to local levels, while boosting the participation of local residents in the building and implementation of policies on poverty reduction, welfare and socio-economic development.
Authorities in the central Quang Nam province have approved a project to develop traditional craft villages and tourism.
Accordingly, the province will arrange annual capital for the trade villages to develop infrastructure, product designs and quality in a bid to attract over 60,000 tourists per annum between 2015 and 2020. The province will also assist trade villages with vocational training and connections with other localities to expand production scale and consumption outlets. Craft villages expect to have locally trained workers and receive support to participate in tourism promotion programs, introduce products at exhibitions and trade fairs, and protect the environment. The province is pinning hope on the villages to help draw tourists, especially those from abroad, and generate additional job opportunities for over 3,000 rural workers. Quang Nam is now home to 60 traditional craft villages, creating jobs for tens of thousands of workers. Among the best known are the Phước Kiều Bronze Casting Village in Điện Phường Commune, Điện Bàn Town, Kim Bồng Woodworking Village in Cẩm Kim Commune, and Thanh Hà Pottery Village in Thanh Hà Commune, Hội An Town.
Many Vietnamese travel firms attended the ongoing International Trade Fair for Travel and Tourism in Moscow, with the hope to enticing Russian customers. Vietnamese firms are at the fair to bring Russian tourists back to Vietnam. After a wave of Russian tourists coming to Vietnam, since the end of 2014 to the half of this year, the number of Russian visitors has decreased 30 to 50% due to Russia's economic difficulties.
The administration's goal is to increase the number of Russian tourists arriving in Vietnam by 10% from now to the end of the year. In order to achieve the goal, traveler firms are creating products and packages that suit Russian travelers.
On the sidelines of the fair, the Ho Chi Minh City's People Committee organized a conference on connecting Ho Chi Minh City tourism business in Russia. The World Remnants Museum in Ho Chi Minh City reported it has welcomed more than 17 million visitors in the past 40 years, including 6.5 million foreigners.
From 2011 to 2015, the museum has been consecutively listed among the 25 most attractive museums in Asia by the prestigious tourism website TripAdvisor. It was also ranked as one of the top 100 attractions in Ho Chi Minh City, voted by domestic and foreign visitors. Director Huỳnh Ngọc Vân said his museum has collected about 15,000 exhibits, from documents to photographs and objects, and is searching for more, not only in the country, but also abroad. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism has recently presented the insignia for the cause of culture, sports and tourism to 8 outstanding individuals who have made great contributions to the museum.
And that's all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye from Hanoi.